Today, drama means trauma, drama means unrequited love, and drama means making tuna sandwiches and chocolate milk seem like they're a match made in heaven. Hi, welcome to Drama Means. We're talking about the 2025 Thai BL series, Fourever You 2, Beside the Sky.
And first, a summary. A college student struggles to break free from his controlling father while finding the courage to pursue his longtime crush.
We are talking about Season 2 of Fourever You, and it is the third couple and the third book in the series called Beside the Sky.
This is the third couple or the fourth couple?
Third couple.
What was Season 1?
Season 1 is Eastern Hill.
Okay, yep,
and
check.
then North and Johan.
That's what I thought.
So that's 1, 2.
Okay.
And then third couple is Tonfah and Typhoon.
Okay, why did I think they were the fourth couple?
I don't know.
The fourth couple is yet to come.
Yes.
We haven't started them yet.
Yes, that would be Arthit and Daotok.
Okay.
So
I'm with you now.
The fact that this show is called Fourever You, and we have our 4 main couples, but then there's a random 5th couple.
Which we don't even get to in this season, really.
No, well, I don't know. They're going to be part of Season 2. So really, it's Fourever You.
But also, wouldn't it be cleaner if, Season 1 was, Hill, the Hill pairing, and then Season 2 was the North pairing, and then Season 3 was the Tonfah pairing? Wouldn't that just make more sense rather than being all right, now we're halfway through Season 1, we'll just start with a new couple?
Yeah, I don't really know. Well, I think if they split every couple as a season, we'd wait too long.
I don't know. It feels like they didn't have enough time to get everything in this season, because it felt like a lot of stuff was kind of overdrawn out and then rushed at the end. So, maybe they don't need more episodes. Maybe they do. I thought the structure was strange. I know it's how the books are structured, going couple by couple. I guess I'm just used to watching these where you just kind of intercut the relationships of everyone and don't just take them one at a time and then go back in time and kind of review the same timeline from a different perspective.
So it kind of does that a little bit, but it's not actually it's actually not as bad as you think, because it does kind of flow in terms of, it starts with Easter, right? Easter Hill. And then it goes into, and then their story kind of begins, and then halfway through, Johan sees North again, right? And then that goes on, and then they're already dating before Tonfah and Typhoon meet again.
Right.
And they only are able to meet again because of the other 2 that are dating already.
Yeah.
And then when they're, once they're in a relationship, that's not, and it's like they're together before Arthit and Daotok even meet.
And now that's where we'll take it off and continue. No, I get it. I guess my biggest gripe with some of the side characters in this is a lot of them don't have much to do because their stories are kind of over.
Yeah.
And now they're truly just supporting stories for Typhoon and Tonfah.
Yeah.
And normally in a show you would give your characters, B stories, C stories. What are they doing outside of our main 2? The answer is nothing. They have nothing to do that isn't completely surrounding this character.
Yeah, well, they're sitting around being groovy and living their own life.
Ooh, dramatic.
Well,
what riveting television.
Well, the thing is, they're living their own life that we're not seeing because our focal point is Tonfah and
yeah, I understand.
Typhoon. Yeah. So, as I didn't read the books until I think after episode 2 of Beside the Sky, I was like, I can't wait 1 episode a week. It's just too excruciating. So I went ahead and read the book, and I finished the book, and then I rewatched the episodes over and over and over again.
All the way from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you caught yourself up.
Yeah.
To this season.
Yeah, and then the new episode would air. I'd watch the new episode, and then I'd go back and watch episode 1 and watch it all the way through again.
Became a little bit obsessed here.
I am still obsessed. I'm not even lying. Like, I guess when I watched season 1, I wasn't expecting anything from the third couple. You know, like, I've watched Bver before in, like, the 21 Day Theory. I liked him, but it was just kind of, sure, okay, whatever. I didn't know anything about the storyline because I didn't read the book until Beside the Sky started airing. So I didn't know their story at all. So I wasn't expecting anything. But, like, the chemistry between Bver and Tonliew, like, are amazing, in my opinion, right? They're just so adorable together, and I feel like the characters were written for them, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, they exuded the characters. And so I got obsessed, and I am super, super obsessed. I read all of the books. I'm waiting for the Jaden Dunn story.
The
sixth story.
Wait a minute. Now, that's just too many. Forever. Can't be 6 ever.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't think the production team thought this through with the name. Because clearly Forever was not part of the books. The books was North, South, East, West.
Right.
Right? And then it went into the Tiger Dunnow story. You know, and then it went into Dunnow's twin, you know, and so it's like, okay, if you're going to tell, okay, they have not said that they're going to do the twin story, so we're just saying that there's 5 couples, right? We're only going to have the series of 5 couples right now.
Right.
But either way, your show is called Fourever You.
I mean, the naming convention is kind of, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, even North, South, East, West, like, okay, if you say so. Like, that there's no directional, like, thematics to the show. Yeah. Like, it's just sort of, okay, sure. You want to put, like, a naming convention to your books? Fine. But it doesn't make any sense by itself either.
Yeah, well, other than, like, Easter, start with East, and then Nor.
Okay.
Right.
You could call it Potato too, and name the 2 characters. Like, it doesn't matter.
Okay, anyway.
Well, here, I have a little bit of a differing opinion. I do think the actors had really good chemistry. I think they were fine in the role. Having not read the books, to me, there's not much here. There's not much stated chemistry other than what the actors are bringing. I don't really understand, like, really. Like, they never made me feel understand. They've told me. They never made me feel understand why these 2 need to be together. It's just kind of like, oh, okay. And I think having you kind of talk me through different things that happen in the book, I got a little more out of the series. I don't want to have someone explain the book to me.
That is true. I do think that a lot of the book is lost. And I know a lot of people argue, like, oh, this is an adaptation. It doesn't have to go exactly how the book goes. But I think that when you lose some of, like, the character drive, you know, like, motivation in the series, then you're not justifying doing your characters justice. So the reason why Typhoon is looking for Tonfah is because he's always been, like, kind of a shining light for Typhoon, because everything else, other than his sister, has been darkness.
Yeah, no, and they did a little bit of that in the show and showed them, you know, showed their past together and the moments where he was, you know, stuck in the dark and that kind of stuff. They tried to dramatize that. It felt very situational. It didn't feel emotional. And I think the advantage you have in a book of being inside the characters' heads, you can draw that out more. For me, as an adaptation, not knowing the source material, it just doesn't seem to be that great of a show, like by itself. Like I don't know. I wanted more of everything, and the stuff they gave me more of frustrated me and felt like kind of filler and time wasting. And I'm like, no, get to the meat. There's got to be delicious, nutritious meat here, and you're not giving me anything.
Well, there is a lot that, that the book like has really mapped out, character arcs and, the changes in emotion with the characters that I don't think the show had conveyed. But ultimately, the story is a feel-good story of someone who was down in the depths of trauma and depression, and finding someone that really finding people, like with the friends and like being and like himself working himself through and pulling himself out of that darkness. That is the main story and plot of this book and Typhoon's journey, right? The thing is with the series is I think they really concentrated more on like the fluff of the romance rather than like an actual journey that Typhoon had taken.
Yeah.
The thing is with so there was a lot of stuff that was said in the series like, oh, Tonfah had always, drew a line, that I never had the courage to like pass that line. He always treated me as a younger brother. And in the book, he really showed a difference of character with Tonfah. Like, he definitely had that line. He never actually let Typhoon sleep in his room, in his bed. They never shared a bed. He was very, like, a little colder to Typhoon than the series. The series really, like, softened Tonfah's character up. So then when there's the change of him realizing that he has actual feelings for Typhoon, it doesn't seem like there's much of a contrast.
I mean, I think that was one thing in particular that I would point to where this show is too soft, is they have that line of dialogue where he said, I can't remember which character Tonfah's talking to, but he says,
Hill,
I never thought of him this way before, and now I think of him different. Except I'm going to treat him exactly the same as I did before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to baby him. I'm going to rescue him. I'm going to let him sleep in my bed. Like, nothing changed except for a line of dialogue you told me. And I think you're going to hear me say it, I think, a lot in this episode of, yes, you're telling me that's how it is, but the optics of the show didn't demonstrate that. So I ain't feeling it.
Yeah.
It just felt like, no, you were the same dude to him when you were hugging him when he was underneath the tree crying. And then you're the same guy at the last frame of the season. You say it's different. I just have to trust you because I don't feel it.
Yeah. I think last year we talked about shows that did better than the source material. I can't say that this show did better than the source material. Again, with the source material, it really planned out how each character change was, especially with Tonfah. Like, Tonfah was like, yes, he did treat Typhoon as a younger brother, and he definitely wanted to take care of and make up for the 4 years that he wasn't there for Typhoon, right?
Right.
But he definitely drew that line where, like, he's my brother, I will take care of him, but I'm also not going to, like, bend over backwards for him.
Yeah, and you kind of described the kind of like, hey, do you want to sleep in my room? And he's like, no, I'll just sleep on the couch. All right, fine, suit yourself, mofo.
Yeah, and so, like, in the show, when Typhoon leaves Tonfah, like, he was in the living room and he snuck into Tonfah's room and watched him, right? But in the series, they shared a bed and then Typhoon just left. And the thing is, you may not think that there's much of a difference, but it really says what their relationship was.
Right.
And it showed, and the thing is, what's so great about that is that when the change happens, you're like, okay, like, Tonfah is now treating him not like a brother, but a love interest, right? And then, which really, I think this is what makes all the book reader fans so upset about the series adaptation, is they cut out the scene where Typhoon's dad gets, like, his comeuppance, right? Like, he gets punished for all the shit he did. Right? To Typhoon. And the thing is, the series made it so, like, insignificant, but it's such a big deal for the characters and the book, is because you see, the whole time, you see, like, Tonfah being like, the gentle soul, always like the level-headed one. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to Typhoon, he is willing to get down and dirty. And it just shows his love has changed from, brotherly love to romance to I will do anything to protect Typhoon. That's a big arc that the series really just negated and dismissed with his, it's like very like offhanded dealings.
Well, they just had to wrap it up real quick.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time.
There was a thread they needed to tie up, and so they tied it up.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time. They probably didn't have enough budget to have a whole nother warehouse scene with like a bunch of bodyguards and violence. As Ryan had said too, like, in the book, the tone is a little off because you're dealing with like college romance, and yes, there's some trauma, but it had never been like a violent thing. And then all of a sudden we're dealing with mafia and like guns and knives and it's just like the tone of the show changes if they add that in.
Yeah.
But it is something that like, I will go to such lengths for the man I love.
I mean, I'm of two minds about it, because I think if they would have just taken a detour in episode 7 and all of a sudden were like cutting people's body parts off and like threatening, death by mafiosos, after watching 6 episodes of them like pass notes in class basically and like swoon over each other, and it's all this cutesy music, and the show is very brightly lit, you have a massive tone problem from a TV show perspective. You may be able to get away with it in the book because we're, again, hearing inner monologues and we're understanding how people feel and that kind of thing. In a show, it would have come so out of left field to go that violent that it would have been a kind of whiplash. Like, it had just been weird. Like, think about Saved by the Bell. And all of a sudden, like, Slater just takes the rival quarterback from the other school and just decapitates him. You're like, what am I watching? Like, what are we watching all of a sudden?
Yeah. I understand that. But like, like 90210 and Melrose Place dealt with stuff that was like way past their like.
Well, Melrose Place is about adults. That wasn't about like 90210. They weren't like hanging people off the school or anything. No, I will say where you are 100% right, and I will completely agree with you, is the revenge plot on the dad and the setup and the payoff of that was so anticlimactic, they just shouldn't have done it. Like, they shouldn't have done any of it. If you're going to do it, and maybe you don't want to go to mafia and, like true gritty violence, you have to do something if you're going to do it. And it was so unsatisfying.
It was unsatisfying because they didn't really set anything up. The whole time that like Tonfah and Typhoon were passing notes and stuff, and or like even when they first start dating, they didn't show like Tonfah like looking into Typhoon's like past and dad stuff, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, this investor wants to invest. Well, the thing is, there's I don't know if it's a Chinese saying or just specifically a Cantonese saying, but it is you don't want to Daotok, meaning like you don't want to like hit the grass to alert the snakes that you're there.
Yeah, don't telegraph your punches.
Exactly. Like, you don't want people to know what you're up to. So when Tonfah shows up and is like, I have all this information, like in the book, he really like surprises the dad, and he really like by the time the dad has known that Tonfah was behind anything, he's already screwed. It wasn't like they were giving him a chance. Like everything was a done deal. Like he's done and messed up, right? And it was like such a was it like pulling the carpet out from underneath him. Like he did not know it was coming. In this, it was like, oh, I'm giving you a warning, and I'm showing. It just doesn't feel like that ruthless.
Yeah, and honestly, with the tone of the show, and I know this probably would have upset, the book readers even more. What is the dad's like high crime against Typhoon? His high crime is blaming him for his sister's death and
abusing him,
being a shitty dad, and also keeping Tonfah away from him. Now, I know that's all crappy, but it probably doesn't deserve the death penalty. I think in this show, if they would have just brought it to a point just to where Typhoon, for the first time in his life, has the courage and the backing of his friends and the backing of his, new boyfriend to tell his dad, no, I am not the thing that ruined your life. You ruined your life because you are a fucking loser. And like stood up for himself and had the dad run away with his tail between his legs. I don't ever need to see that dad ever again. I don't need any more of that story. And again, this is forgetting the book. If you want to do an adaptation, adapt. You want to make a show that's light and fun and fluff? Make a show that's light and fun and fluff. And just give me that character moment of him sticking up for himself, and I'd be good. But you did this weird, you kind of did that, and then you did this really lazy kind of wrap up of like, yeah, we put him in jail. And that's supposed to feel satisfying. And so now, as someone who didn't read the books, goes, well, this is a stupid story. And for someone that did goes, well, this is an incomplete story.
Yeah.
And you've pleased no one.
Yeah. Well, the thing was with the whole adding this, warehouse mafia scene back in, right? There was a struggle, an emotional struggle within Typhoon that we don't get in the show. And the thing is, from beginning to end, Typhoon is like, no matter how bad my dad has treated me, he's still the only family I have left, right? So he keeps holding on to the hope and idea of his dad maybe like accepting him and loving him, right? And it was the struggle that he had to take with Tonfah, where Tonfah is like, this is my plan and this is what I'm going to do. And Typhoon having to let go of that hope and to let Typhoon do what he needed to do. But like the compromise is like, Typhoon's like, no, do what you need to do, but Tonfah, don't you be the one that attacks my dad. Like, don't be the one that's cruel and violent, let someone else do that. Like, I can accept it if it's not you using your own hands, right? That was like a compromise that he had to like struggle with to come up with. Like, that is also a big character moment that you lose in the show. And so I know a lot of people arguing like, oh, like the show is so good, it's like all about lovey-dovey stuff, right? But like, because you don't give the respect that the book deserves, you lose so much with the character and the build-up and the emotions. And not that there's no emotions in it. Again, I loved the first 5 episodes of the show. But it just started missing a lot. And another thing for me is like they started messing up, timeline and then not fixing it at all. Like when after Tonfah meets Typhoon, the secret admirer pen pal for the first time, they added a random scene where he like next day picks up Tonfah from class.
Right.
Right? And then it goes back to that night, and he was like, oh, today I met up with the guy. And no, you met with him yesterday. But in the book, it was the same day. Like, he had met his secret admirer, and then that night he FaceTimes Typhoon, and basically makes Typhoon understand that, like, him kissing his secret admirer was not like a spur of the moment thing.
Right. It was a decision.
It was a decision, and he is like sincere about his decision and his feelings, right? Even though Typhoon doesn't realize that he's directing it towards himself, he just wanted Typhoon to know, right? It was a same day thing, but the show messed it up, and then they didn't change the dialogue to match it.
I mean, that's the continuity error of it. Like, they just did take a shortcut and then forgot to, like, fix it on the back end.
Yeah. And also, the biggest thing was that random shot of Tonfah finding out that Torfun had passed away right before the scene where, you know, the parents, like, asked Typhoon about Torfun, and then Tonfah, like, coming in to save the day, right? Because they needed that scene that we, as the audience, you know...
We already know it, but, like, the characters need to know it.
Yeah. No, but, like, the audience didn't know.
No, I mean, the audience knows the information, but we haven't seen the characters find out the information yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, he can't go and defend him about his sister until he finds out that the sister thing happened.
Yeah. So then they randomly stuff this scene somewhere, right? Just so that when they do it, then the audience is like, oh yeah, he found out. No, he found out so much earlier than that, and that scene was put way too late. In the book, literally, Tonfah finds out about Torfun right before the barbecue party.
Right, and that's why he goes.
That's why, and it just makes so much sense. Like, oh, he found out about Torfun, so he makes the conscious effort to make amends with Typhoon.
Yeah.
Right?
I think a lot of this show, they have a cause and effect problem where they're chugging through their story, and they have gotten to the effect, and they haven't shared the cause yet, and they go, oh crap, we have to quick do this. You know, even with, you know, Typhoon changing majors, like, oh, he wants to change majors, we want to do that at this scene. Oh, we better quick jam a scene in there where someone goes, hey, you should just follow your dreams. And he's like, you know what I should do? I should follow my dreams. Like, in the next scene, like the investor thing. Hey, there's an investor. The very next scene, he's there as an investor. Like, if they would have woven that in and allowed us time to marinate on things, then it seems like really smart writing. It seems like you've set up your punches to knock them down. And in this case, it's like the scene before he goes in to talk to the parents. Oh, crap. We have to make sure that Tonfah knows about the sister. Quick flashback. Awkward as all hell. Just so in the very next scene, it makes sense. And it's just this cause and effect writing. It's what happens when you're kind of outwriting yourself. You've gone through it so fast going, oh no, I forgot to set this up. Well, I guess I'll just set it up and pay it off in the same 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it all feel cheap. And they do that a lot in the show.
Yeah.
I think there's more examples of even those 3 we just gave. Like, they literally set it up and then pay it off in the very next scene, which that's not really set up payoff anymore. That's just kind of a blob.
I mean, they just randomly, like, stuffed it in there.
Yeah.
And so it's just like covering your own ass, even though you fucked up. You know?
Yeah, we do it all the time in TV where you get to a place and you go, oh no, we never set that thing up. And then you're kind of left with a choice. Do you go back and try to set it up, maybe at great cost and great production? Can you wedge it in a line somewhere in ADR in another episode? Yeah. Or do you just forget the payoff altogether? Yeah. You know, it's a choice at that point. And I think the fact that they made that particular mistake over and over is kind of a problem with the construction of the show.
Yeah, and it shows amateur, and it shows incohesiveness.
I mean, my biggest problem with the show is I felt like they spent way too much time on passing bags of chocolate milk and tuna fish back and forth, which is disgusting, by the way. Here's the number one red flag, and we just
First of all, First of all, don't ick anyone's yum.
I'll ick someone's yum. Tuna fish and chocolate milk? Get out of here.
Well, I do think that might make you throw up. I'm not, like, just the chemistry of it. I don't know.
We're going to call this Ryan's free love advice section of the show. If a man or a woman shows up in your life and with them they bring tuna fish sandwiches and chocolate milk, that is a red flag. You run. I don't care how cute they are, how much they look like a little kitty cat. Meow. No. You run. That person is a psychopath. And that concludes my advice for this portion of the show.
I don't know, man. I think we have to try it.
No, I will not. I will not. Anyway, I think they spent so much time in that fluffy section. It didn't need like 3 episodes of passing a bag back and forth. Like, first we have to pass a bag back and forth to our friend. Complication, our friend is gone. Now who will do it? Oh my gosh, so much drama. Who will pass our bags back and forth? I know, the coffee shop lady. Oh, so much drama.
Well, I mean, it's that is directly from the book. So.
I know, but it's so long. It's so many passes. And I'm like, oh my God, get to it already. And the fact that they spend so much time in that section of the show. Well, it's time we don't get to see them together. True. It's time they don't get to be together. And it's time we don't get to resolve the other plot lines and have to wrap them up all in episode 8.
Yeah.
Or really in episode 7 so that episode 8 can be a big fat nothing burger.
Fluffy. That's all fluff.
Nothing happens in episode 8. Spoiler alert. Not a thing happens in that episode. Blank.
I do want to say, and I know the problems of shooting in Japan, but the Japan shoot was so cheesy, in my opinion. You know, like the coloring is off. You know, I'm not positive, but it feels like the Japan shoot was shot before all of Besides the Sky was shot, because honestly their chemistry was actually not as good while they were in Japan than when they were in, you know, Chiang Mai, like shooting your regular part of the story. So I'm assuming that they hadn't quite developed that chemistry that we really loved in the first few episodes. I'm not sure. Maybe they shot it after the fact and they were already out of character, but it just wasn't like their chemistry wasn't as strong. But I know how it is, like, because it definitely looks like a guerrilla shoot.
It seems like it.
Where maybe you have like 1 or 2 staff members and then like a camera that's not as good, and you have to pretend to be a tourist while you're filming in Japan because you don't have a permit to film. That's what it looks like.
I mean, I don't know about all that. I know that you're probably right that this was shot before the season as the first thing. That's how I would do it, and that's how in the past when I've shot on international units, like the biggest international unit was always shot at the beginning of the year before the rest of the production was up and running, because then you don't have production people in Thailand just sitting there twiddling their thumbs on hold, paying everybody to do a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So you start the production somewhere else or you end it somewhere else. I know that at least in Tokyo, when I shot in Tokyo, like there's no such thing as public filming permits. You kind of have to get permission of the locations, whether that be a private location or a neighborhood, and they kind of give you permission. But if you make too much of a footprint, if you make too much of a stink and it starts kind of clogging up the streets or messing with traffic, the cops come and shut you down. So when we shot there, we shot right in Kobukicho. Like, if too many people were starting to watch us film, we had to all go inside and wait for all the people to kind of move along because we were blocking the sidewalk. But we had full film cameras, we had a crew, we had, people. It was limited, but it was still kind of a guerrilla shoot.
Uh-huh.
But my thing with the Japan shoot, and this is, when I produce international units, is if you're gonna go to Japan, you have to shoot the pants off it.
Yeah. Because
why couldn't you just go to someplace in Thailand that looked like Japan? Like, find a cool building, find some cool architecture, and then call it Japan. You know how much, like, Cuba I shot in Miami? Like, how much Colombia I shot in Miami? I created the Ukraine in Miami. So, like, you don't go to Japan and shoot unless you're really going to be like, hey, guys, look where we went. Yeah. We went to Japan, and it is undeniable. Because otherwise, everyone just thinks it's CG, and it's not worth the money.
Yeah. Well, it definitely seems like it was the cheaper portion of the show. The thing is, for me, it's mainly I don't know if it's because it was cheap or the fact that it was maybe they were only there for a couple days, where you don't get the romance of it, which, like, you know, Japan trip, the first time when it's like their first time having sex, it's a big moment in their relationship, and I feel like they really like tone that so down. Honestly, the scene where they're at Tonfah's parents' house, that scene was stronger and more emotional and like more ravaging than the Japan scene where that was what it was supposed to be. So it's just, I don't know. I felt like it was a waste of time.
It didn't give me anything, to be honest. Like, having them, you know, what you want is this kind of like holiday, right? You want the two on holiday by themselves. If you're just going to send the two of them,
yeah,
it's this escape. It's that, you know, summer camp romance kind of thing that, well, we're away from home, the rules don't apply.
Yeah.
And it was just, again, I think my criticism of the whole show overall is just a little surface and cute and not that emotional and deep. Like, are they cute together? Yeah.
But there are definite emotional scenes. Like, they acted the shit out of, you know, the scenes.
Yeah. I thought they worked really good together. I think the acting was really positive. Again, every time I wanted to feel something, I didn't feel anything. I'll believe you that you guys are really into each other. Like, it had nothing to do with the performance. It was all the setup. It was such a focus on being cute that the emotions never reached me. Like, they just never got to me. And I have to watch this not as someone who knows the story from the book. I have to watch the show that's in front of me and also just critique the show that's in front of me. And, like, I can't tell people out there, like, oh yeah, if you just watch the show, you're going to be really emotionally fulfilled by what this is. I don't think so. I think if you read the books and then come to the show, I think you'll get a lot more out of it, and you may be disappointed at sections, but you will definitely get more out of the emotions, and you will feel these guys representing the characters well. Because I think they're both great actors. I think they both did a really good job with the characterization. The emotions just aren't there. There's emotional scenes. My cold heart don't feel them.
Well, I felt something. Not all the time.
But you also read the book.
I also read the book.
So you have all this background knowledge.
But I didn't read the book until after episode 2.
And the show didn't fall apart till episode 6.
That's true. There was something else that Ryan had an issue with. It was, I think it was episode 1 at the end where, Typhoon basically not pushes, but like won't open the door for Tonfah up, like, you know, and basically telling Tonfah like to go away, and you know, he's annoyed with him and stuff, and it's like very emotional scene, and somewhere in the middle of the scene, the music was so loud that it covered up whatever Typhoon was saying.
Oh yeah, that scene. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
And it was hindering the performance because the music was so distracting.
I don't know when it became my personal pet peeve of throwing in music to cover actor performances, because whether it's some studio exec or some director or somebody somewhere says, I want music to tell me how to feel now. And this poor kid is acting his ass off in the most important scene of the entire episode, and you're putting this a cappella chant over it that I'm like, stop. His performance is giving you everything you need to feel. don't patronize me with your bullshit soundtrack. It aggravates me to no fucking end. Like, I will stop watching a show over that. Like, it just tells me, as filmmakers, you don't understand what you have. And you have no business having it. So I'm going to take your toys away, and you're going to sit in the corner and let people who actually know what the hell they're doing do it. And I will say, that was my feeling going out of that episode, was I don't know if they know what they're doing. And they kind of proved me right a few times throughout the course of the series. They didn't know what they were doing. They mishandled so many things. They were sloppy in so many ways. And you have these actors who are just giving you everything on the screen, and you're going to say, thanks, but no, we'd like a cheesy music track instead. That'll help the audience here. The kid's moneymaker is on the screen, acting his full head off. Blatant disrespect.
Yeah.
So, like, as a filmmaker, I want to apologize to the actors, especially for that scene of, like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Because if I was them watching, I would be mortified.
The thing is, the song was also sung by the actors. And we know why, because they want to get as many streams of the song on, Spotify or, like, whatever platforms they use. Or I don't know if anyone downloads and buys songs anymore. I'm not sure. But, yeah. So that is also some kind of, like, money-making thing as well. But I do, like, I can understand that song being played other places, different times.
Of course.
But that scene was really hindered by blasting this song over the acting, over dialogue, and it's so loud.
I laughed out loud when the song came out because I thought it was a joke. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing to this guy? Like, I remember I was on a show and we had a super pivotal moment. We go all the way to South Africa to shoot this vista. We shoot it at sunrise. It is the prettiest thing you've ever seen. One of our characters dying. And as the shot, the most glorious shot I've ever been on set for, pulls back, the network decided to put up a promo bug for The Voice right over the top of the scene. Watch The Voice next at 10 p.m. Like, so I get the promo people screwing up your show, but don't do it for them with this music. Like, awful. Just sad, just sickening. Anyway, rant over.
Anyway.
How'd you get me fired up? I was ready to just give my rating for this, and now I'm all fired up, and I'm like, how low of a rating can I give this thing now?
Oh, anyway, for me, before episode 6, this would have been Drinks on a Pool Deck. But because we had 6, 7, and 8, as the show has finished now, it is down to onboard karaoke.
I would say for me, the show is stepping out to get fresh air. I feel bad for giving it that low of a rating because there's just nothing really wrong with it. It's just, I think it's a show. Ask me in a year and I won't even remember anything about it. I'll never think about this show again. And I think that's sad because I do think there are some performances worthwhile in this. And like, you have a very unhealthy obsession with it. So I feel sad saying that.
So I have an obsession over it, but I actually have an obsession over Bver and Tonliew.
Okay, well that's fair.
I think they have amazing chemistry. I think Tonliew is like the cutest little thing ever. Like, I want to put him in my pocket and like pet him and be like, "You're a little kitten," and then he gives all these cute little like side, I don't even know, like he turns his head and like looks up at you. He looks like a cat. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, they casted this character like 100% perfectly. He is this character. And his chemistry with Bver is so cute and amazing. And I, hope they have lots and lots and lots of shows and like Off Gun have their 10-year anniversary or something, because I want to see them for a long time.
Well, they're going to be doing this show for a long time because they have to do the 4th couple and the 5th couple and the 6th couple. And by the time they do the 12th couple, they'll be 90 years old. and they'll still be just cute as a button.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's a 12th couple. I don't even think they're going to do the 6th story. Anyway, but from what I know or think is that they are pretty much done filming.
Okay.
So, we'll see what's up next. Because, after Fourever You Part 2, I believe they're going to have the, Maxky Baz show. I forgot what it's called. Like, might be my player 2 or something. Which I might read also, but I haven't decided yet. So that'll be coming up. So I'm hoping there's going to be another one of Bver and Tonliew, because I would watch the shit out of that.
Well, hopefully they do, and hopefully they can give them some material that really fits their acting.
Anyway, that is it for us this week, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening.